Howdy friends and welcome to The Average J. It's been a couple months since I cleaned up down in the basement. We got out of the pandemic and I had a lot of stores, I guess you would say, a lot of food items and medical supplies because of the pandemic, and now that we're pretty much out of that, they're not needed. I took a lot of things out. We have a bunch to donate to the local food pantry. There's a church in Thoroughfare that we had donated to before, and we're going to put some materials out there to them again. But I have 2 shelves that can actually be condensed into one shelf, and my workshop is an absolute disgrace. I have to say, I'm really embarrassed about it, but what I'm going to do today is combine everything from the 2 shelves into one shelf, and I'm going to go ahead and clean up the workshop and try to put all light tools together, put everything on the pegboard, put everything in the portable toolbox or bag. It's a bag actually, not a box. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm hoping by the end of the day I have everything down to one shelf and we have the shop completely cleaned out. That is the goal. Yesterday I cleaned out the coop, so I'm actually a little bit on the tired side, but we're going to give it a go regardless. So here are the shelves I was talking about. You can see we have 2 shelves and they're about half full apiece. I'm going to consolidate them down to one shelf and put it, I don't know if I'm going to center in the wall or just leave this one. We'll see how that is. First step is going to be get the sucker empty. Let's go. And that pretty much does it. We have gotten everything off of the shelves and we combined it, or I should say we got it down to one shelf. So now it's a matter of taking all the stuff, dusting it off, and putting it back on. However, there are some items that are not going to go back on. They're either trash, they're going up in the pantry, they're going in the garage. Bottom line is everything from 2 shelves is going on one shelf, and we took the other shelf apart. That'll go somewhere else in the basement. Maybe Michelle can use that for crafts. Not sure what we're going to use it for right now, but at the very least, we got the 2 combined down into one. Now that we have everything off the shelves, and the shelf is, I took the other shelf apart, now I have to go through everything that was on them and decide what's going to go on this and what's going to go elsewhere. So that's what I'm going to do now, is bring the stuff over that's going to go back on here. But I'm not going to put it on yet because I do need to clean everything off. First step first, let's just grab the stuff. That's everything. There was more on those shelves, but those are meant to be either out in the garage or in the workshop. I want this to be more household, I don't know, kitchen and, I don't know, emergency medical stores like the rubbing alcohol, and I don't know, during the pandemic we kind of stocked up on a few things. So that's what's going to go on this shelf. But because I had chickens down here, there's a little layer of dust on everything. So the next step is going to be clean everything off. and getting everything dusted off and put back on the shelf is complete. I actually found a few more things that weren't originally on these shelves. They were on another set of shelves that were in the workshop that were more suited for a household shelf, sort of like a big pot, a thermos, and some disinfectant spray and some bleach. So everything is on here, and it is getting about time to start getting on that workshop. Boo, that's going to be a hard one, because for the last month, every project that I've worked on, and this is like so wrong, but I get done and I just kind of throw the tools in there, and that is not right. Everything is supposed to have a place. We're going to jump on that next. Just like I did with the shelf, I guess the first part to getting all this cleaned up is going to be getting it all out. So that's going to be this part, just getting it out. It is funny what you might find when you're cleaning. I came across an old harmonica. I think this was my father's, my grandfather's, I don't know, but it says Marine Band on it. Old harmonica. Let's see. I couldn't tell you the last time I tried a harmonica. Wasn't perfect, but for not playing in a while, I didn't think that was too bad. Let's get back to cleaning. that takes care of the cleaning part. And just before I started to clean, I actually had something I had to do out in the coop. I had to go hang a barn fan. It's like 94 degrees today, and the coop is a little warm. And I had a fan in there, so I put in a coop fan. I went and got a coop fan or a barn fan that definitively puts out a lot more air than the fan I had in there. So hopefully the birds won't overheat, but it overheated me. I'm tired. But I wanted to get this cleaned up. So now that this is cleaned up, I think what I'm going to do is go get cleaned up myself. And I think I'm probably going to continue putting everything away tomorrow. I think I'm going to go run some errands today, and I'll clean it up tomorrow. So when you see me, I'll be in different clothes because it'll be a different day. This is why I never get anything done. I go from one thing to another. So I got the basement clean, and I already got distracted on doing the basement because I wanted to put the fan in the chicken coop. So I got the barn fan in, and I got the basement cleaned and straightened up. But I decided I wanted to cook. So I'm trying a recipe I've never tried before. So yesterday I actually picked up a rabbit. So I'm making a rabbit stew with vegetables, and it's like an English recipe, I guess, from the recipe I found. Let's go through the ingredients. So we start with the rabbit. I've already cut the rabbit up into the pieces that I need. We have 3 cups of chicken stock, 4 cups of, I'm going to mess up this, Cabernet Sauvignon. Anyway, it's a dry red wine, apparently. That was what was advised to use. A third of a cup of water, bay leaf, 3 teaspoons of butter, seasoned salt, dash of pepper, some all-purpose flour, segmented, cup of celery, 2 cups of carrots, 4 ounces of mushrooms, a red onion thinly sliced, and 4 medium russet potatoes. And we're going to cook it in a Dutch oven. I'm not really expecting great results from it because, again, this is just the first time I've ever tried it. I wouldn't call it a bucket list item, but it was something I've always wanted to try. And just getting the ingredients together and cut up took me about 35 minutes. But I think the actual prep, once you get all the food ingredients together, is actually not that long, and then it has to cook for, I think it's like 2.5 hours. So it's almost 4:30 now. We'll be eating about 7 o'clock tonight, late dinner. Brittany says she's not going to eat. Last night she had saw the rabbit in the refrigerator, and apparently last night she had nightmares about dead rabbits chasing after her or something along those lines, small animals like coming after her. So I don't think she's going to eat any. Alex said he'll give it a try though. Here is how the stew turned out. And I got some on my plate, and Michelle's eating it. What do you think, Michelle?
Big thumbs up.
Big thumbs up. I gotta say, I am super impressed on how this turned out. It is 7:30 in the evening. It took about 3 hours total time to make. But this is really good food. Mm-hmm. Super happy with how it turned out. Yeah. Already wants some from Mommy, but I don't think he's going to get any. Okay, well, I know I said when you see me again I was going to be in a change of clothes. It's been 2 showers and 2 change of clothes since you last saw me because so much was going on. First I had to hang the barn fan in the chicken coop because it's so hot they needed the air. Then I needed to make dinner, which was my first ever attempt at rabbit stew. And then finally I got to cleaning up the remainder of the workshop. So we're going to go ahead, and the workshop, I don't know if you saw this earlier because it was kind of pushed to the side, but My workshop is separated from the rest of the basement by a Mickey Mouse shower curtain. I know it seems goofy, but it works. So we're going to go ahead and pull that to the side and put it up for a minute, and we'll be able to see what the workshop looks like. So as we walk into the workshop, you can see we have our chemicals cabinet. This is where we keep all of the insecticides, herbicides, flammable items, WD-40, starting fluid is all in there. Some kerosene for my kerosene heater and gas for the lawnmower. Moving on from the chemicals, we have our shelves. I tried to organize everything so everything that's related to paint is on the bottom. Middle is funnels, all my nails, miscellaneous hooks and hangers, matches, flammables, or not flammables, but all kinds of matches, including flint. Then we have on the right side is all of our electrical and light bulbs. On the left hand side is plumbing and glues. In the front is staples and ratchet set. Have our extension cord and shop light. Anything that binds is in this little basket. That would be string, tape, zip ties. Those are all empty containers. And then up top, 2 empty tool bags and some antifreeze that I need to get rid of, but they don't have a next collection until September, and some cleaning solution. So then I have my little workhorse bench, the workmate, and the table saw. I should have probably turned on the light back here. There we go. And here's the workshop now. All the power tools are underneath. A couple shop lights underneath. All the toolboxes are segregated to have different things. This one has wire cutters, pliers, anything basically that grips or clamps. And on top of that is the ratchet sets. The yellow toolbox includes axes, rubber mallet, and all my pipe wrenches. It's a very heavy box. Then we have the gray toolbox that has everything related to drills and screwdrivers. And then we have a miscellaneous green container that has like a loose hammer, screen repairers, a bunch of loose stuff. And then in the little gray box in the front is all of my miscellaneous nails and screws. On the pegboard in the back, it's just a bunch of random stuff, but it's nice to have the drill bits and the screwdrivers kind of just out there that I can utilize them. This handsaw is one of the best tools I have ever purchased. Anytime that you need to use a saw, sometimes you might use like a big saw like this that's hanging on the wall, or a coping saw, or this saw. This little handsaw is an amazing piece of equipment. I mean, it cuts your wood like butter. I think I got this for like 15 bucks at Harbor Freight. So, very useful tool to have in there. Always use hearing protection and safety glasses when you are doing work in a shop. Safety first, including all of the gloves. And then down the bottom is my compressor, mop bucket, and shop vac. There's a shop vac over here, but this is like one that we use for water. One time we had a hot water heater go, so that we use for water. This one we use mainly for dry. As you can see, we condensed the 2 shelves into one for the household items. That worked out really good. I'm so glad that we got that taken care of. And everything on here, it's not that we're just storing it. We use this stuff. The roasting pan that you see here, well, there's 2. They're nested, a bigger one and a smaller one. The smaller one, plus the wooden bowl on top of it, we use when we make homemade kolak bread. Down the bottom is the crock pot. We probably use that every other month. So there is use for the items on this. The last part was up in the front. When you came down the steps, there was a set of shelves that had like all the stuff for the car and camping, and it was just in your face as you got done. So what I did was I moved all the way to the end of the basement and put all the stuff for the car, the lanterns, the activity stuff down at the back. Some of this stuff was in the shed that we converted to a coop, so had to find a place for it, like the bicycles, the cornhole game, the tent, the chainsaw. But it's all back here now, and I think it worked out really good. By the way, up top here, that is not cobwebs coming down. That is where I stuffed all the fishing poles and the fishing gear. So that's just fishing line coming down. Oh, and the dehumidifier I find funny because the #1 video I've done on YouTube, not that it's a lot of views, but it was over 5,000 views, was how to fix a dehumidifier that wasn't draining. And that's the one I used for it. I just found that kind of funny. So that's going to complete the cleaning of the workshop and straightening up. I have to say I purged a lot of things. I got a couple bags of trash out of here. And it was just a bunch of things that, I mean, if you haven't used it in 15 years, I don't think you're going to use it at all. It was like some flexible plastic hose that I think my grandfather had set up in this house when he set up the sump pump. Used this plastic hose to go into the piping to go get pumped out, and I don't know, there were some scrap pieces of wood and just a few things that, you know, like I said, if you haven't used it in 15 years, are you really going to use it? I don't want to be on the show Hoarders. You know, that's just not my gig. But I feel really good about getting this clean. Had a lot of help from Michelle. Michelle is always the voice of reason when it comes to purging things out, you know, so I'll give her props. One of the things that she got rid of, we kept the jumper cables from it, but there was a emergency car repair emergency car kit that had like a flare, a road flare, belt degreaser, and I don't know what else was in it. A small first aid kit and jumper cables. We kept the jumper cables, but I mean, she's had this thing since she first had a driver's license when she was like 16 years old, 17 years old. So it was nice to see that she was able to part with that. And, you know, sometimes you just gotta let things go when you know that you're not going to use them. But all in all, I am super happy with how the workshop turned out, all but taken way longer than I thought. I thought I was going to get it done last night, but again, just other things popped up, and you got to put it in priority list. And the shop wasn't really a priority because chickens needed attention, and you know, family needed to eat. So you put it into the direction that you need to go to best suit the living. This wasn't holding up any of the living, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that the music during the fast forward part was okay. There was no way I was going to be able to fast forward through putting everything back in and cleaning everything. Even at 1,000 times speed, it would have been 45 minutes worth of material, so I wasn't going to bore you with that. But I hope you liked. If you did, please hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thank you so much, and have an awesome afternoon. By the way, I haven't done a dad joke in a while, so I'm going to throw one out there. Knock, knock. Who's there? Shelby. Shelby who? Shelby coming round the mountain when she comes. Hope you enjoy.